Hi folks, I'm Lawrence Man and welcome to Lawrence Can Draw. Now when you're looking for your next creative workstation, it's a real challenge in today's modern climate. You need power, intense graphics capabilities, brilliant audio, all wrapped up in a finely tuned device that can handle any workflow that you can throw at it. That's why today we're looking at the HP ZBook right behind me. So join me in this review and we'll take a look at exactly what this can handle. There are unlimited options for students, business gurus, mathematicians and even politicians. But let's face it, serious creatives like you and I, we need a decent setup. We need a better GPU, CPU, RAM, etc. You might be working from home, you might be working in the studio. That's why I'm suggesting a serious device like the HP ZBook Studio G7, that's generation 7. And it's great to keep your options open with a device like this. Now I've been using desktops for the last year or so, but for a long time before that, in fact roughly 10 years or so, I've been using laptops and two-in-ones to keep myself mobile as a freelance creative. It's absolutely great to be going from one place to another and take your main device with you rather than trusting things like tablets. While some things like that are great just to sit down on the sofa with, keeping your main device as mobile as possible, something like this to do serious video editing on and keep files with you at all times, that's why I really recommend something like this as kind of the ultimate working device. Instantly on contact, I noticed that familiar aluminium unibody. It's very familiar to me because of the ZBook X360. Now the ZBook Studio G7 does look and feel a lot like the other ZBooks. It is, I wouldn't say lightweight, but it has a good weight to it given its power. I can hold it quite easily by one corner, fits in a bag, doesn't feel heavy at all, but the unibody is absolutely beautiful and that design aesthetic is what makes it one of my favourite laptops for creatives. One more thing that you'll be able to appreciate is that excellent build quality. The matte display with its very fine bezel is something that professional creatives demand time and time again, as well as the colour accurate display. The model I have here is the Dream Color display. Now, one thing I love about a good matte display is you won't get that horrible gloss shine that can kind of put you off your work. You can't see those beautiful colors because you're getting that horrible glare. But HP always seem to get this right, whereas you'll find seemingly similar devices that are kind of near enough in spec but have that horrible gloss display that means you just can't get your work done. But a good matte display, as long as it's color accurate like this is, will really help you get that work done. There are a few nice alternatives on the market, but do any of them come with a matte screen? And do any of them come with a matte screen as default? I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, and that's a real deal breaker for me. You might not think it's a big issue, but when you work with a gloss screen every day, that glare does become a big issue day in and day out, especially when you're doing a lot of creative work, when you're doing, like I say, 3D video editing, a lot of photo editing, design work, illustration. It really does become a bit of a problem. You know, you're constantly moving that screen around, trying to find somewhere where there isn't a light source bothering you. It becomes a bit of an issue. So a matte screen is a lot better option. Having that as default, I mean, that's just an obvious choice really. Now, you know I love the matte screen, but I could have also reviewed the 15.6 FHD version of this as well. Now, I want to review the best quality version, and that to me means the 4K AMOLED 60 Hz Dream Color version, which is absolutely fantastic, and it's pretty much the same screen as I already reviewed on the ZBook X360 and I absolutely loved it. There is also a 4K UHD screen that is a touch screen. Absolutely great, but that screen doesn't come with dream color. So you won't get the ultra deep blacks and a billion color range. It's up to you. What do you want? Do you want those absolutely gorgeous colors that are really, really accurate, or do you want touchscreen? For me, I'm going to be doing mostly video editing on a device like this, photo editing, where I can just plug in a tablet and go to work when I want to do my illustrations as well. So it's up to you, really. The ZBook Studio is well built and well designed for sure. But how will it actually perform? Well, with a 10th generation Intel Core i5, i7, i9 or an 8-core Intel Xeon CPU and NVIDIA Quattro T-Series and RTX GPUs with up to 16 GB of GDDR6 dedicated memory, allowing for quicker and more stable render time for larger professional projects. Something we're seeing more of in these slim form factor devices. Your ZBook Studio should be more than capable of handling anything that an illustrator, an animator, a designer or an art director should be able to throw at it. The ZBook Studio comes with up to 32 GB of DDR4 RAM and 2 TB of storage. I found that to be absolutely speedy while working on typical creative applications. I've not had any bumps in the road there. Making light work of large format digital painting and other work as well, meaning your workflow can flow much easier. If you can manage to fill up a 2 TB hard drive on this, you'll notice the Wi-Fi 6 and the Bluetooth 5.0 to be kind of useful. I did notice the faster Wi-Fi straight away. I've been paying for fast broadband in my house, so yes, that definitely came in useful. And Bluetooth 5.0 is incredibly great, especially if you use accessories like mice and drawing tablets and every other little thing that takes advantage of Bluetooth 5. The more accessories you have that are Bluetooth, the more you are going to need Bluetooth 5.0. If you don't know what that is, look it up now. Well, after this review. Cost-wise, this is the expensive end of the ZBook market. But if you're a working professional, then you can afford this. But if you need to look at cheaper options, there are the ZBook Create and the ZBook Firefly. But like I say, if you're a working professional, then you can write this off against your taxes. The bells and whistles are on the ZBook Studio. Officially, battery life is up to 18 hours. I found that is just working with basic files, but on an average workday I got between 12 and 15. When I really pushed it with work, then obviously that went down a lot further. But the great thing about the ZBook Studio G7 is that it only takes about half an hour to get that battery charged up to 50%. Cracking. So even though I can, really get that battery life down when I'm pushing it hard, but then again I can charge that battery super fast as well, which is fantastic. To be honest, when I'm actually using it outdoors on the go, then I'm not pushing it that hard, so battery life will last me a very long time. The main issue I've encountered before, and one that people like to ask about in reviews, is always noise and cooling. Now HP have been good enough to develop something called the new vapor cooling chamber. This is a liquid crystal polymer, say new kind of gaming class cooling system. Now this is 2.8 times more efficient while remaining 22% smaller. Sounds very cool, doesn't it? A new thermal system that's designed to run at max performance for longer. But is it less noisy? No, not really. But then again, when you get up to these kind of specs, you're never going to get a silent machine anyway. However, the noise personally, wasn't of any real concern to me. The ZBook also gives you something called the ZPower Slider. Basically what this does is it gives you control over performance, fan behavior, acoustics, things like that. It's great for certain workflows, for certain creative applications and so on and so forth. That all sounds impressive for sure, and while I can't measure the individual effects, I certainly heard very little noise and didn't have any heating issues. That i7 CPU and the NVIDIA Quattro GPU had no issues when it came to performance. The aluminium unibody didn't give me any heating issues at all either, thanks to that new vapor cooling chamber. The whole thing worked like a charm. That unibody has been a problem for some other brands I've noticed, especially when you start putting higher specs in. On top of some impressive specs, the ZBook Studio comes with a Bang & Olufsen set of speakers, custom built, yeah. It comes with a soundbar here, right above the keyboard, and it also comes with 2 bass woofers right in here. These really help when you're doing an animation or when you're editing a bit of Premiere Pro or something else like that. It's great to use headphones, but if you're working for 16 hours a day, as a lot of creative professionals are, then the last thing you want to be doing is wearing headphones for that amount of time. It's great if you've got a really nice set, I have, but even then, wearing headphones for that amount of time is fairly crippling. And there's a big difference between headphones and a good pair of speakers. Yes, because there's some really good bass on these. They are quite loud and they do put other laptop speakers to shame. They really do. HP actually claim that these are the most powerful speakers to date with the highest levels of bass. Those keys have a modest 1.5mm travel. They have a lovely snapback. This keyboard is actually spill resistant, though I haven't tested that myself. It's a lovely quiet keyboard, so you can actually work inside a library as well if you so choose. And the keyboard lights up very, very well. So if you want to work in the dark, that's up to you. No judgment whatsoever. Now, this does as well have a fingerprint reader over here, which does work perfectly while I've tested it. Obviously, you have to calibrate that as best you can. But I like it when devices have things like this on now. It saves idiots like me who forget their passwords constantly. But the thing I loved the most was this, the 5.25-inch smooth trackpad, which is absolutely great for any creatives out there who do a lot of vector work. That's absolutely great, whether you just want to whip up a quick brand symbol or whether you want to do detailed vector work and illustrations or just whiz across your timeline when you're editing a video. Either way, that large trackpad really is handy. When you look at the specs, this is an impressive device wrapped up in an incredibly beautiful shell. But we've all seen a couple of devices like that recently, so I wanted to spend some quality time with the ZBook Studio G7 and actually put it through its paces with some real life workflow. See if it stands up to actual day-to-day rigors of a professional freelance illustrator like myself, and see how it actually stands up compared to other devices. So that's exactly what I did. As part of the review process, I wanted to work on a real commissioned piece. That includes using peripherals such as a drawing tablet as well. Now, you can get a device like the HP ZBook X360, which is a great 2-in-1. But there are many reasons why you might decide to keep your main device and your drawing tablet completely separate. It could be due to cost. It could be due to the fact that you want a larger drawing area than, say, 15 inches. It could be the fact that you want a specific pen technology. It could be the fact that you want to leave your drawing tablet back in the studio sometimes. Maybe it's for sharing with somebody else. Maybe the fact that you know you want to upgrade the drawing tablet later on. there's a whole plethora of reasons why you may choose to keep these two things separate. The good thing is you can always pick up a drawing tablet at any point and just plug it in. What else would I like to see? Well, the ZBook Studio G7 isn't overly blessed with ports, but it's a trade-off. What do you want? Do you want a nice thin lightweight device like this, or do you want something absolutely crammed with ports but is ultimately a thicker, heavier device? Personally, I want the nice lightweight device that I can carry around with me. I can always take it back to the studio, home, wherever I am, and plug it into a hub with more ports on it. You know me, I would have loved pen and touch on every single device in the world. Not bothered here, there is a touchscreen version available, and I can always drag out something like the Wacom Intuos, which is a pen and touch device, and plug that in or use that via Bluetooth. This has Bluetooth 5.0, so I'm perfectly happy. Since this is a device based around sound with those Bang & Olufsen speakers, I'd like to see a separate input for microphone and headphones as well. Just something for us audiophiles. I'm requesting this basically because I'm a YouTuber, but you know, just a little something for us audiophiles, like I say. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, none of these are really me grumbling about things that I believe are missing on the ZBook Studio. Really, it's been a great workhorse of a device, and I just think there are a couple of things that could make it, you know, even better. Right now, so many creatives, full-time and freelance, are going virtual. The future is fluid, and the best creatives are the ones that can stay mobile. Professional artists, designers, videographers all need a device that can get the job done. HP claims that the Studio G7 is the world's most powerful mobile workstation per cubic centimetre. So would I buy the G7? Obviously it's a yes. Strong performance, great battery life, it's done everything I've asked it to do. Yeah, if you're looking for a powerful mobile device, it delivers. If you're a freelance creative or full-time creative, yeah, it's going to do the job you've asked it to do. So that is the verdict from me. Don't forget to check out the links below. I will see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the ZBook. And let me know what you are using right now as well. I'll see you all later. Hit subscribe and the notification bell as well. I have got some other videos on this, on the ZBook 360, on the Z monitor as well that I've reviewed in the past. I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Ciao for now.